Anambra State Government commences training for accountant staff in ministries, departments, and agencies. Federal government urges states to support effort towards decongesting correctional centers. Tunisian President Said names a new interior minister amid crackdown on prominent opposition figures. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News. My name is Chidima Orangwa. The governor was speaking after casting his vote as a polling unit 002 Oviyi Umueze Isuofia Agwata Kentil area. Our team of reporters filed their reports from various polling centers. We have details of this report from our studio.
Governor Soludo adjudged the process as peaceful and commended INEC officials and security operatives for carrying out their duties with sense of responsibility. He noted that from the information available to him, there was low turnout of voters, unlike the massive turnout recorded in previous election, and expressed the hope that Anambra would turn out in their numbers to cast their votes.
The will of the people will prevail, albeit that I understand the turnout is relatively, compared to the previous one, relatively lower than the previous one. But all the same, the important thing is that the will of the people will prevail. And I want to commend INEC, REC, and the officers at the various officers of INEC, the local government, the electoral officers, and all their staff, and so on, for the effort so far.
In a similar development, Anambra State Deputy Governor Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim voted in its polling unit 016, Central School 1, Mbaokwu, Oka South Local Government Area, alongside other voters in the unit. Dr. Ibezim, who noted that the nation's electoral laws must be obeyed by all, cautioned party agents and electorates against acts that could lead to violence or disruption of the exercise in the area. The deputy governor asked security agents manning the polling units in Mbaokwu to be alert and ensure that nobody is intimidated and made to vote against their will. At the polling units visited by the ABS during the exercise, including Nkwambaokwu 001, 002, 003, 004 and Akabo Village, Mbaokwu, polling units 018, 019 and 020, it was observed that voting processes started around 10 a.m. and security agents, including police, Department of State Security, DSS, Civil Defense, were on ground to maintain order.
Meanwhile, the Vice President General Hannes Ndibo Worldwide, Chief Damian Okekogene, has appealed to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure strict compliance with the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, especially in the real-time transmission of election results using the BVAS. Chief Okekogene made the call after casting his vote at polling unit 004 at Village Hall, Nanka, Orumba North Local Government Area of Anambra State. Correspondent David Obokwasile reports.
The Ohaneze Ndibo chieftain, who commended the peaceful conduct of the exercise and timely arrival of INEC officials, regretted that the hitches witnessed in the February 25 polls led to the poor turnout of voters. He, however, insisted that INEC must do the right thing this time if the confidence of the electorate will be restored in the electoral process.
I had to go vote ever. Mana even notice bona vote nka na konwa nke abụọ dị na olu mkpụrụ ụbọchị n'ise ife sozie ni mere ọ dịka ọ jụrụ ndị mmadụ oboyi ị na-anya ịfụ na ebe niile nwere ebe a na-atụ vootu ndị mmadụ apụtakịrị mana ife dị iche na nke taa bụ na ịbịa a na-etụọ vootu ọ bụrụ na otu a nke taa dị ka nke emere n'ụka na-abụ gara aga dị Mana Nigeria Bogotego.
Meanwhile, ABS News reports that the exercise has been peaceful at the polling units visited in Aguata and Orumba North local government areas of Anambra State. Accreditation and voting commenced as expected at different polling units visited, including polling unit 016 Central School, Ifitananka, polling unit 004 and 005, 80 Village Civic Center, Nanka, and polling unit 004 Central Primary School, Ndiowu, Orumba North local government area, and polling unit 016 Ndekalo, Isofia Ward, Aguata local government area of Anambra State. At Amob Ward 2, polling unit 001, one of the voters, Mrs. Jessie Nwokoye, who commended INEC for the peaceful conduct of the election and improvement in the bimodal voter accreditation system machine, pleaded with the commission to ensure that their votes count by not compromising the election results for the good of Nigeria.
We are peaceful here, no problem, no argument, no queuing up. So everything is in order. Yes, provided it will be free and fair. INEC will not do their mogomogo by being manipulating our votes. Let it be just free and fair. We will love it.
Another voter, Mr. Leonard Ihesinono, said the election was well organized when compared to the presidential election and commended INEC for the improvement.
Thank God, everywhere is very calm and peaceful. You can see the entire masses. Let us hope and continue our race. By God's grace, God will help all of us.
When ABS team visited Ebenebe and Amansi axis at about 12 noon, it observed a hitch-free conduct of the exercise and noted that most of voters had already voted and were waiting patiently for the votes to be counted. The team also observed the presence of security personnel patrolling their vehicles to maintain law and order. In separate reactions, Mr. Romanus Okoye, who voted at Ebenebe Ward 1, polling unit 003, and Mrs. Ifomo Okoye at Okukwa Healthcare Ward 1, Amansi polling unit 011, expressed worry on the low turnout of the electorate but described the process as free and fair.
Wife of the governor of Anambra State, Mrs. Nanya Soludo, says her husband is working day and night to give the Anambra a state that will be an envy of all. Mrs. Soludo, who stated this in a statement to mark 1 year in office of her husband's administration, said that there is no doubt that the Anambra, in electing Governor Chukwuma Soludo to serve them, have appointed the best hand to take the state to a new level. We have details of this report from our studio.
According to the governor's wife, with what the present administration has achieved in just 1 year, the Anambra must understand that Governor Soludo's leadership style is development-based and is determined to leave a legacy of good governance. Mrs. Soludo, while assuring that her husband has the best interests of every resident of the state at heart, explained that as a man who has always achieved each set goal, Governor Soludo will not leave any stone unturned in his quest to give the state the best form of leadership. The Anambra's first lady, while maintaining that she was proud of what her husband's administration has pulled off in 1 year, promised to continue to lend her support to help the current government succeed better.
Anambra State government has commenced a 5-day training for all accountant staff in ministries, departments and agencies to achieve standard accounting practices. The training, organized by the Office of the Accountant General of the state, is holding at the Jerome Udoje State Secretariat Complex in Awka. Correspondent Chukwuemeka Modelim reports.
While commending Governor Chukwuma Soludo for approving the funds for the training, the Accountant General of Anambra State, Dr. Chukwudi Okoli, explained that the program is for all accounting staff in the payroll of Anambra State government from grade level 7 to 16. Dr. Okoli disclosed that the exercise will get them up to date in the field of accounting, laws governing accounting profession, and how best to manage the resources of the state. The head of Financial Management Branch, Office of the Accountant General, Mr. Sylvester Atoba, said the training will help them improve in their day-to-day operations and master the best way to keep proper records of a book of accounts. One of the organizers of the training, Mrs. Angela Okoli, and head of Treasury Operations, Office of the Accountant General, appreciated Dr. Okoli for initiating a program that encourages human capital development, adding that the exercise is a quarterly program that enhances efficient service delivery. In their contributions, some of the participants including Mr. Sevanus Ezanoloe, Director of Accounts, Ministry of Power and Water Resources, and the Vice Chairman, Association of Accounting Staff, Anambra State, Mrs. Adeze Egwato, observed that the program is targeted at the challenges already found in the operations of accountants, adding that it has helped them to become conversant with the rudiments in accounting as well as curb fraudulent practices in the civil service. In Oka, Chukwuemeka Modelem, ABS News.
Still on the breakfast news this morning, it was a moment of gratitude, show of love and appreciation as the women of the Anglican Church of the Pentecost Oka organized an event ahead of Mother's Sunday. It was a week-long activity by the women, which they normally use to reach out to the needy and the vulnerable in the society. Correspondent Blessing Dennis reports.
The event, which was held in Oka, was attended by the Vicar of the Church of the Pentecost, Oka, Venerable Ekenedili Chukwunwafo, the Managing Director, Anambra Broadcasting Service, Sachido Obidiegu, clergy, youth, children, among others. The program kick-started with the march past of the four eminent families of the church, namely Grace Family, Favor, Marvelous, and Blessing Family, an award presentation to treasured fathers, and eating competition. Speaking while receiving an award, the chairman on the occasion, who is also the managing director of Anambra Broadcasting Service, Sachido, expressed appreciation to God who made it possible for him to be recognized and promised to be more committed in serving God. He recounted his sweet memories of mother's love and care while on earth, describing her as an incomparable genius.
We are here to celebrate mothers. Venerable, I want to thank you very much for this honor and all the members of the church for this very honor. And I want to pray that this event will mark the beginning of a new dimension in what we are doing in this church.
The Vicar of the Church, who is also the Archdeacon of Oka Central Archdeaconry, Venerable Nwafo, who also received an award, appreciated God's mercy upon him and said it calls for more work, adding that the day is set aside for women around the world to share love and celebrate themselves, while charging them to look back into their various homes in restoring love and be good ambassadors of the society. For the chairperson of the 2023 Modern Sunday Committee of the Church, Mrs. Chizoba Chumwike, the day was mapped out for women to have fun, remember the roles they play in church, family and society at large, and appreciated Sachido for his undying support towards the growth of the church.
This is a day we decide to feed the church. So, we didn't recognize the role the men and the fathers in the village. But without the fathers, there will not be mothers. So, I want to follow our support to
in Oka, Blessing Dennis, ABS News.
The Minister of Interior, Mr. Ralph Arabeshola, has said the state have a huge role to play in decongesting correctional centers and pointed out that about 70% of inmates awaiting trial were state offenders. Mr. Arabeshola called on state to either fast-track the trial of the inmates awaiting trial or build the holding facilities for them. He said the federal government was ready to provide personnel that will man the facilities. Mr. Arabeshola, who spoke through his media aide, Shola Fastori, expressed the readiness of the federal government to work with the state in decongesting the facilities. They said the custodial centers were only to host and take care of the inmates and that they lacked the power to free anyone in the facility. Dr. Chioma Ezenimulu has handed over the reins of power of Anambra State's Primary Healthcare Development Agency to the new Executive Secretary, Mrs. Chisom Uchem. This followed the appointment of Mrs. Uchem, a pharmacist, as a new Executive Secretary of the agency by Governor Chukwuma Soludo last Tuesday. Correspondent David Mokwasile was at the brief handover ceremony at the agency's headquarters in Oka and now reports.
That was the mood as one era ended and another began. Dr. Ezenyemulu was appointed the pioneer executive secretary and chief executive officer of the agency on inception in 2015 and completed her 2 terms of 8 years on March 14, 2023. The primary healthcare subsector in Anambra State before the creation of the agency in 2015 was one of the worst-ranked sectors in the country, rating about 7% from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency in late 2014. But with the creation of the agency, appointment of Dr. Ezenyemolo, and the subsequent reforms initiated under her administration, the primary healthcare sector grew to become the best in the country, receiving other high-rank ratings from local and international partners. Members of staff of the agency took turns to eulogize Dr. Ezenyemolo for her reforms in the agency and in the primary healthcare subsector in the state, and for ensuring that everything that is due gets to the state. Dr. Ezenyemolo, who in her valedictory address to members of the agency described the opportunity to serve the state in that capacity as a rare one, added that she was privileged to have made impacts and improved the living standards of many. Dr. Ezenyemolo asked the staff members of the agency to give the new chief executive all the support she needs to take the agency to the promised land.
The price of hard work is more work. In anything I do, I believe it's worth doing well. So I put in the best in everything I do, no matter what it is. In fact, I'm so happy it is in-house. Every morning, something new, something new, something new. And that is how it will be for all of us.
In her acceptance speech, the new Executive Secretary, Mrs. Uchem, promised to sustain the legacies of Dr. Ezenyemolo and take every step possible to ensure that primary health care continues to meet its demands to women and children in Anambra State.
I want to make a special I want to know that Madam Elega in the Basin.
The event climaxed with official handover from Dr. Mrs. Ezenyemolo to Mrs. Uchem.
And on the foreign news, Tunisia President Kais Saied has named Kemal Feki as the new interior minister hours after Touafik Chefedine resigned from the post amid a crackdown on prominent opposition figures. Saied issues two decrees, the first removing Chefedine as a second appointing Feki, the former governor of Tunis, as the head of a Ministry of Interior. The presidency said in a press release overnight. Feki, one of Saied's staunchest supporters, refused to grant a protest permit to the opposition Salvation Front coalition, saying that its leaders were involved in plotting against state security. However, the Interior Ministry allowed them to protest. Saied has taken increasing control over security forces since July 2021, when he dismissed the government of the country's former Prime Minister, Hichem Mechichi. Saied shut down the parliament and moved to rule by decree before writing a new constitution that he passed last year. And over now to sports, FIFA has dropped plans for Saudi Arabia to sponsor the 2023 Women's World Cup. FIFA President Mr. Gianni Infantino said the decision followed a backlash from co-host Australia and New Zealand players and sponsors about the proposed deal. Mr. Infantino said talks had taken place with a visit Saudi, the Gulf country tourism arm, about sponsoring the tournament. The Swiss official, who has been re-elected unopposed as FIFA president, also said that FIFA is aiming to have equal prize money for the men's and women's World Cup by 2027. Mr. Infantino said he would not have seen an issue with Saudi Arabia sponsoring a World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, as FIFA is an organization of 211 countries. Remember, you can follow news and programs on ABS from many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television Oka. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points again. India and Anambra are waiting for outcome of state assembly elections. Anambra State government has commenced training of accounting staff in ministries, departments and agencies. Federal government has urged the state to support effort towards decongesting correctional centers. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Tunisian President Said has named new interior minister amid crackdown on prominent opposition figures. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the Breakfast News this morning. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chidimma Orangwa. Good morning.